Hi everyone, I'm Emily and I make stickers at Google. Today I am going to talk to you about the process of making stickers, what makes for a really good sticker, and then this idea that I have become fascinated with as a result of making all these stickers, which is character design and why it matters in this age of digital communication. So if you are texting with someone and you need to say please, there's a couple different types of please you might need. So you might need a really sarcastic, dismissive, oh please. You might need a very polite please. You might need more of that begging, pleading please. Please. But what we have text, and we have emojis, and you can use them in combination. You can use them as punctuation, as annotation. You can use a couple emojis, but we're still working with a pretty limited set of images and within the same visual language. So what happens is that our conversations really look the same. We're losing that personality, that voice, that intonation, and that's where stickers come in. So stickers are really an evolution of emojis. What we have as stickers are tiny illustrations and animations that are jam-packed with nuance, with layers of meaning, and the main difference between how emojis get created and what we have with stickers is really the artist's point of view shines through here. This is about the artist's perspective, the artist experience, and the characters that come out of their imagination. The possibilities are just really much more open when you're working in the realm of stickers. So I have made a bunch of stickers for a bunch of Google products. You can find them in Gboard and Android Messages and Allo, and I think the coolest thing about what we do with stickers at Google is we give them all away for free. When we set out to make all of these stickers, we did not think of this as a character design project, but it came very apparent that it was, and we started to ask ourselves, why is that relevant? Why is that what we want to do in this context? So if you go back to those different types of pleas, all of a sudden when you have GIFs, when you have memes, when you have stickers, and there are these characters there, you're bringing in all of these pop culture references. You're bringing in all of these other, the stories and narratives of these characters that if you have seen Full House and you know about Michelle Tanner, you know just how sassy that oh please is, and all of a sudden it becomes a very different a way of speaking. What we think this is about is really a much longer tradition of role-playing and mask wearing and dressing up that you find in cultural art forms, in theater, in literature, not just actually doing the acting and getting up there on stage, but even saying, hey, I relate to this character. This character is experiencing what I've experienced, that empathy, that catharsis. But more modern interpretation of this is this idea, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this researcher, Brene Brown, but she studies shame and vulnerability, but one of my favorite things from her is that she says there's this basic human need that we all have, which is to be seen, heard, and valued. Seen, heard, and valued, seen, heard, and understood. And my interpretation of how we translate that tradition of theater and dance and culture today are things like bumper stickers, are things like posters in your childhood bedroom, are things like the little enamel pins you see on backpacks or lapels. That those are all little micro signals that we are using to construct our sense of self, our notion of identity, and tell other people who we are, what we care about, and what we're all about. So I am going to show you some of my favorite sticker sets that we've made, and you'll see that really it changes what character I use depending on the person I'm speaking with, the context, my mood. So this is Yogi Bunny, and Yogi Bunny I might use when I'm talking to my mom. My mom and I both love yoga, but it's really useful outside of yoga. There are minor accomplishments, there might be some wobbly, anxiety-ridden parts of my day, but really what you're getting here is that warmth, that respectful tone, that affection that I want to use when I'm talking to my mom. When I'm talking to my girlfriends, I want to be maybe a little bit more sarcastic, a little bit more fun. I'm going to want to use slang that my mom just wouldn't understand. And I want to be feminine without being super girly. So Fluffy and Friends is the right tone for that. So then we have kind of perfect lovers. In the beginning stages of seeing someone, you're still in that honeymoon phase, and I might want to be a bit flirty and a bit cheeky, and so this really sets the right tone for that. But then, once we've been dating for quite some time, maybe we're living together, I'm going to use Sherman to really make him laugh and share that feeling of what it's like when you're at home and you're just being your normal weird self. And then, on the days when I'm just not having a great day, I'm pudding. Pudding helps me express this kind of, everything sucks, nothing is going right for me, but it's still with a bit of humor and a bit of cuteness. So when someone asks me that question, how are you doing today? I might be a little bit more likely to actually answer honestly if I have pudding there to help me convey that. So now we're going to jump into process a bit and take you behind the scenes of how we actually make these stickers. So we start with a theme. The theme really comes from what people talk about in messaging apps. So what are they using them for? They're talking to loved ones, they're talking to their family members, they are making plans, they're talking about their commute, they're letting someone know that they're going to be 5 minutes late. So in this case, what we're going to go through is making plans with friends to go out on the weekend. So we pick a theme, and then we come up with a list of messaging that has to do with that situation, things you might want to say about that theme. Then we look for artists. So what we're looking for when we are selecting an artist is, does this artist have some familiarity with this topic, or are they a member of the audience that we're trying to target, and looking for that thread in their portfolio. So this is artist Damatile Collardi, and she has this really, really fun, out there, kind of gross, very honest, authentic perception of what it's really like to go out with your friends that we thought would be perfect for this. We're also looking for can they handle different facial expressions? So if all the faces kind of look the same, that's not going to work. How well do they handle typography? And can they really convey a range of emotions that stickers are going to require? So then we move into the sketch phase. And so this comes from that list of messaging topics that we established early on. So they're sketching each one of those in a situation. And we're in all of these creative reviews, we're looking at two different things. We're looking at concept and we're looking at style. So when you're looking at concept, you're saying, okay, is the main theme, is the message clear? Is there a logic across all of the sets? Is it clever? Is this a new way of seeing something? If I see another thing with heart eyes or another dog sticker set, I'm just done. I'm throwing in my towel. So in terms of style, we're looking at, is the character being drawn consistently across all of them? Is the color palette going to give us that legibility and contrast that we need? And then we end up with these finished animated sticker sets. And why I love this one so much is that the individual stickers can be really useful outside of their intended purpose of going out and partying. So there's these two dancers in the middle row that I love using for kind of that positive affirmation of sure, you got it, I read this, that kind of thing, instead of just, the literal interpretation of I'm out with my friends at a club. Okay, so what makes a good sticker? When we first embarked on this, we had a very specific set of audiences in mind, and we knew that in order to really make something that felt local and authentic to those audiences, we needed to go work with artists in those areas. So we worked with 4 agencies, Anyways Creative, which also runs the website It's Nice That. If you're into illustration, definitely recommend reading it. They're based in London, A Good Feeling in Mumbai, Percolate in Jakarta, and Vitar in Sao Paulo. And what we got from working with these really amazing, talented agencies, beyond their understanding of who's in the illustration community there, is they really helped us understand the nuance of communication in those areas. How do they use body language? How do they express negative emotions? And we wanted to mitigate that risk of us as a group of people in the Bay Area making assumptions about how other cultures communicate. So this is one of my favorite examples. These are 2 stickers for Brazil, and actually grilled cheese on a stick is a very common snack on the beach in Brazil, which I never would have known or understood without that local knowledge. And they also have this really amazing tradition of actually clapping for a sunset when you're on the beach, which we just thought was so charming and so delightful, and really needed to be included in the sticker set all about what it's like to live that beach life in Rio. So we also have found that illustration performs much, much better than photorealism, and that sometimes the most literal thing is not the way to really charm, smile, make users smile. So you're seeing these up here on a big screen today, these stickers, but you have to remember that on your phone, they are the size of my thumbprint. And so when you're working at that scale, you really have to take away any detail that's not really working or contributing to that main part of the message. So we're always saying, okay, does the message still come through if we take this away? Can we take this away? And how do you strip it down to the most basic minimum thing? Another great, this is a minimalist set that we ended up with for a really interesting reason. We found out that our sticker sets, maybe halfway through, were skewing a bit older millennial and also a bit feminine. It's a bunch of really amazing women I have the pleasure of working with, and we decided we don't have anything for kind of like a 17-year-old boy. And so what we did is we actually went and hired a 17-year-old boy to do these for us. And I think we ended up with one of our most clever, charming sets. Again, because of that scale, we really favor thick strokes that read in an instant. And we don't always go with vector artists. I would say the majority of our art is vector art, but we definitely have some people who are working in more interesting mediums. We have one set that was made all out of clay sculptures, which is really, really interesting. We also, there's 24 stickers in a set, and so within that set of 24, each sticker really needs to be its own contained idea or sentiment and emotion, and to really reinforce that, we rely on that crop in order to highlight what that key emotion is. So you're not always showing a character in that full body, but when you do, you want to make sure that there's something there. So that little foot pop, that little pointed toe, gives you a better sense of who this bear is as he's taking his tourist photos. And this touches on what we heard maybe 2 talks ago, really how all those different elements in the face combine to convey those emotions. So we've become experts in, there's just this slight tilt of the eyebrows. Do you think we could go from surprise to confusion and coaching artists on how to get there just by making these tiny little adjustments, really leaning into exaggeration, caricature, so that emotion reads just like in an instant. Not all of our stickers have text, but when we do have text, we really want to make sure that it's adding an extra layer of nuance that the image isn't conveying on its own. And then when we have animation, I'd say maybe about half of ours are animated. You really want to make sure that it's not animation for animation's sake, and it's reinforcing the meaning. So what I love about this one is that his bottom half is just completely still, so that the entire emphasis is on how emphatically this pigeon is saying no to you. And then with every single sticker, we see this, we work with a ton of editorial illustrators, so people who might be commissioned for a New York Times op-ed, that sort of thing. And we get a lot of very clever illustrations or beautiful illustrations, but the difference, the jump that you're going to have to make is this conversational? Why would someone use this in a conversation? So in this case, this is a sticker for Brazil that says, "Girl, you're crazy." And so we're thinking, okay, what kind of situation, scenario would prompt someone to either search for this or use this as a reaction in their conversation? Okay, so this is my favorite slide of the whole talk. What I loved about this project is actually that there was this alignment among everyone that worked on it, that we wanted to really convey how people really speak, what they want to talk about. It's not all just positivity and sunshine and rainbows. We got to keep it real. And so we defined a set of rules, which many companies and other people have struggled with this, of like, what is inappropriate? How do you know when something is actually profane? What is the line? How do you walk up to it without actually crossing it? So actually, there's only 4 of these stickers that didn't make the final cut. So my favorite one is the nipple pinching Julio. So that's Julio the bully, he's at the bottom. The jelly bean on the right that says rubber up, who's putting a condom on top of his head. The dancer in the top right with the orange outfit, and then our send pics are kind of like sleazy looking guy in the corner. Those were not approved for public consumption, but everything else totally native, which was really, really cool to me. So because we're trying to help our users tell their stories, there's definitely a sense of narrative that we try to make sure is there within the 24 stickers. So this is a case of early love, and so over the course of the 24 stickers, this is it condensed. She's alone, she's a cat lady. Boy notices her, he's trying to get her to notice him. She does. They fall in love. They live happily ever after. And what happens when you're actually seeing your characters, react to these different situations is you're gaining that bigger and better sense of who they really are, and that is more likely that you're going to really identify with them. So, because we're Google, of course we also use a ton of data to help us make these decisions. So we might use data to help us look across our inventory and find gaps of what we're missing, what kind of top phrases we don't have enough stock for. And the most interesting thing we found with that is that far and above, across all sticker sets, all regions, love is the most popular sentiment that people want to express, which just warms my heart. But what it really challenges us to think about is the different kinds of love. There's platonic love, there's sibling love, there's romantic love, there's love for an object or something that you're taking a picture of, and how do we help the user really express those different layers of it? We can never have enough love stickers. Another interesting thing that we noticed is that whether it's style or character, people love cute stuff. They just love it. And so we went on this journey of like, what is cute? What do we mean when we say something is cute? It's this word, if you go shopping, you're in a boutique or something in Hayes Valley, you will hear shoppers say, oh, it's so cute, that's so cute. It might be like a black lacy bra, but it's just so cute. So like, what is this like ambiguous term, and why do we latch onto that? And here, I think it's a really interesting point that what we're doing when we're using these cute characters and cute styles is we are making ourselves vulnerable. We are making ourselves more endearing to whoever we're talking to in the hopes of forming that connection. So if you have a pet or something, you might notice that when you're out with your dog, people are actually more likely to talk to you. It's that same sort of feeling that you're getting when you use a cute cat sticker to talk to someone. And really, like, why is this happening? Why are we doing this now? And I think it's because the world is a really scary, stressful place right now. So if we can find a way to retreat into these characters, to make ourselves, a little warmer, a little softer, find that humor and find that playfulness, it really just makes it easier to get through the day and relate to one another. So, where does that leave us? Why do I do this work? Why do I think it's important? Tech neck is definitely a problem. Beyond the actual physical ramifications of that, I am deeply, deeply worried about how addictive we set out to make our products and how much time we're spending in our phones. And so what I really hope when we make these emotive, playful, personality-driven stickers is that we're actually facilitating better face-to-face interactions, that we are facilitating deeper human connections, that you don't have a fear of being misunderstood, of being misinterpreted when you send that text. And if we can provide those tools and make it as easy for you as possible to say what you really mean, then we stand a better chance of actually being seen, heard, and understood, like Brené Brown tells us. Thank you.